Hello students, welcome to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Today we will discuss Unit 10 Social Stratification and Mobility and Social Change as part of BA First Semester Sociology. We see that in each and every society there is differentiation among the individuals. There is differentiation among the individuals. It may be biological differences and so on. And in the society, deliberate efforts or attempts have been made to stratify the people too, so that people will do the occupations, try to work effectively so that their requirements can be done. Social stratification is nothing but the division of society, and they have put on the individuals into different layers or stratas in the hierarchical system. And whenever we talk about hierarchy, we have unequal social groups who are put in the strata based on their skills, based on their status, based on their economical condition and so on. So, each and every society is characterized by stratification, which contain inequalities based on multiple factors. It can be based on income and wealth, like the upper class, middle class and the lower class, or based on the occupations of the individuals, or based on the status of the individuals and so on. We also have the political power, religion, race, gender and age. All these are the characteristics based on which we can stratify the people and put them in the strata in the society. And this word stratification comes from the Latin word strata, which means layers. Now, let us discuss about the stratification. For sociologists, it is one of the important aspects to study about the conditions of stratification. There are three key elements of stratification. The first one is the power. It is nothing but the ability of the individuals to control the other people who are there in the society. They can put on their wish, their desires, or they can exercise their power and control the behavior of the people who are there in that particular state or the country, my dear friends. So, we can classify the people like who have power and who are subordinate in the society. And the second one is the economical difference. In each and every society, we find the people who are richer, and you see that in all the localities where the rich people reside, we see the facilities are entirely different. If we see the Jubilee Hills and Banjara Hills, we find the dominant people or the rich people, affluent people residing in this area. So, obviously, you find a lot of security, you see wider roads, all the facilities provided for the people. But if you go to the slum area where the low income people reside, the facilities are very, very meager, my dear friends. So, economically powerful and the weaker section. And the third element is the social prestige of the individuals. It is nothing but the social status of the individuals, which is a complex term for us to understand. In most societies, we have certain abilities, attributes to the individuals, which also is going to provide the status for the individuals and the prestige. When we talk about the caste system, the Brahmins have the higher status in the society compared to the Shudras like. So, according to the sociologists, these power, economical conditions of the individual and social prestige play a key role in stratifying the people and positioning them in the strata. So, whenever we talk about stratification, we have inequalities in the society. Now, let us see some of the definitions of stratification. According to Ogburn and Nimkov, stratification is the process by which individuals and groups are ranked in more or less enduring hierarchy of status in the society. According to Lundberg, a stratified society is one marked by inequality, by differences among the people who are evaluated by themselves as being lower or even higher. So, we are going to stratify the people and place them either in the lower position or in the higher position. So, we can see that from all the definitions, we see that it is a division of society and we are going to keep the people or the units in either of the positions. Now, let us see the characteristics or features of social stratification. The first one is it is social in nature. We are not talking about biological differences here, but we are talking about the socially occupied positions of the individuals. For example, whether the male is physically stronger or the female, most of us may say that the male is physically stronger, but if Laila Ali comes to any boy who did not practice boxing, and if the lady says let us box, then obviously then we will simply go and join the hands because she has learned the art form of boxing and she knows the techniques and she can easily defeat the people. It's not the biological condition, but the practice which made her stronger, my dear friends. So, it is social in nature. If you see in the office, if you see our Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, for our university, we have a Vice Chancellor, and that Vice Chancellor, he must have applied for the position, and after thorough scrutiny, he must have been positioned as the Vice Chancellor. Because of the efforts of the person, he has occupied that position and is having the higher status, or he or she can control the entire administrative process of this university, my dear friends. So, it is social in nature, it is acquired by the individuals based on their efforts. Remember, that is the reason why we call it as social in nature, not a biological or a physical one. Whether this stratification is there only in the present scenario or whether it is there from the time immemorial, my dear friends, it is ancient. So, the form of stratification may be entirely different. It may vary from one society to the other society. In our 10th class, we have studied that Egypt civilization is one of the oldest civilization on this planet. It is the oldest one with 3400 BC, my dear friend. And if you go there, the people are classified into three areas like the pharaohs, nothing but the kings who are treated as next to gods, and they also believed that the pharaohs have life after death. So, they used to mummify their bodies and they used to preserve them in the pyramids, my dear friends. And only the pharaohs, only their family members have the authority to use the gold. No other person in the civilization has the right to put on the gold ornaments. And if any person does that, their punishment was they used to simply cut down one hand and one leg. That was the condition in the Egypt civilization. Then we have the commoners, and then the third category is the slaves, where they used to conquer them or else capture them, and they used to use them for constructing the pyramids and so on. It is there from the Egypt civilization or earlier than that, my dear friends. It may be based on biological conditions, based on stamina or so on, my dear friends. It may vary from one society to the other society. It is not same. Then when we talk about social stratification, it is ubiquitous. We find it in both the illiterate societies as well as the literate societies. And this stratification is in diverse forms in each and every society. The next one is it is consequential. It can be classified in two general aspects, like one is life changes. When we talk about life changes, it talks or it refers to the aspects of incidences which happens in one's life. It may be infant mortality, maternal mortality, longevity of life, physical and mental health of the individuals, childlessness, mental conflict, separation and divorce, all whatever is going to happen across the life of the individuals, that comes under life changes, and it is not same in the countries. The life expectancy or the lifespan of the individuals who are there in the Indian society ranges from 67 years to 71 years. But if you talk about the same life expectancy in United States of America, it is around 77 years. It is not the same. And if you go to the African continent, in most of the countries which are there, because of malnutrition or undernutrition, most of the children, before they attain the age of 5 years, they are being put to death, my dear friends. So, in terms of life expectancy, longevity, physical and mental health, all this varies from one society to the other society based on the conditions. It may be the resources which are there, it may be the relations which exist among the individuals, or wars and so on, my dear friends, the literacy levels and so on. If you see in Africa, in spite of having the best diamonds and gold, the richest mineral on this planet, they are poor because people are not having proper education and the system never encourages them to educate or enhance the skills of the people wherein they can improve their economical condition and social condition. Whereas there are certain countries where there are no resources, only with the help of human resource, my dear friends, they have become the powerful nations. For example, you can take the example of Japan. So, all this comes under life changes. Then let us discuss about lifestyles. It includes the kind of houses in which one lives, the neighborhood, then the recreational facilities which are available. All these are the byproducts of culture where the individual is able to enjoy them. It also helps us to understand the relationship between the parents, the children, which varies from one society to the other society or from one family to the other family. So, we call this as lifestyle. If you see from the rich families, the parent-children relation is entirely different to that of the families with the low income, my dear friends. It is not the same. So, when we talk about consequential, it is life changes and we can study it from the lifestyle perspectives. And a hierarchy, whenever we are talking as layers, there is a hierarchy of rank where we are going to have superior and subordination between the classes. So, these are the characteristics or the features of social stratification. Let us see some of the functions of social stratification. Why do we need this stratification? According to Wilbert Morey and Kingsley Davis, they have mentioned a few functions which are very essential in the society. The first one is that whenever we are going to put them in the hierarchy like superior, subordinate, the subordinate people may work hard so that even they try to improve their social status. If every person is having the same status, it may lead to monotony, it may not encourage the people. So, these layers, this hierarchy is going to encourage the people to work hard to compete with each other. When people are going to compete with each other, we can also see miracles happening in the society or in that particular institutions. For example, before 2000, if any person used to purchase a mobile phone, the communication providers used to charge them very higher, like the cost of incoming call was 8 rupees and the cost of outgoing was 4 rupees. Only the rich people could afford for that. Later on, by the time it came to 2001, 2003, like at that time it has been reduced, like the outgoing call was around 1-2 rupees and the incoming call has become almost free. And right now, because of multiple players in the society, we have seen that the incoming call is free, the outgoing call from 1 rupee, 2 rupees, it has come down. Right now, we have the packages like 200 rupees, 300 rupees recharge per month, where we are going to get unlimited calls across the country free of cost with 100 SMS every day with 2 or 6 GB of internet for the entire month. It is because of the competition, my dear friends, we can see that the people are being benefited. So, it encourages not only the individual, but it also benefits the society at large, my dear friends. Next one is, it ensures circulation of elites. That means a poor person can also compete in the society and he can also become a rich person. We must have seen Jack Ma. He is the owner of this Alibaba site In India, we have Amazon, Flipkart, and so on. In China, we have a site called Alibaba, and Jack Ma was very, very thin, pale, short, and not that much qualified. Wherever he has gone, he was denied with any job. At last, he also has gone to KFC to ask for a job, nothing but a steward, server, to take the orders from the customer and serve the foods. But even KFC did not offer him a job as a steward too. And he went to his friends and he predicted that in the near future there can be online trade and commerce. Some of his friends came forward, supported him financially, and right now you can see him as the between top 20 richest people on this planet. He has become one of the top 20 richest person on this planet and is being invited by the top 10 universities across the globe to come and share his success mantra. So stratification encourages the people to work hard. It motivates the people, saying that you have multiple layers, you can go to the top based on your efforts. So it ensures in circulation of elite, my dear friends. So when people are going to compete with each other, when people are going to work hard, it also serves as an economical function. It helps in economical boosting of the family, individuals, as well as the institution or the society at large. And when people are going to work hard, when people are going to come together, work together, my dear friends, we can utilize the resources in an optimum way. There will not be any wastage of resources. For example, almost 2 decades back, before that also we have this DRDL, Defense Research Development Laboratories across the countries. And whenever they are trying to do any research, they used to maintain that as secrecy, and when the project is successful, at that time only they used to put the proposal saying that we have done the research on this and we have been successful, and they used to submit the project report to the Government of India. And the Government of India has said that when DRDL is the government agency, then why you are maintaining secrecy? Because you are maintaining secrecy, it is wasting our time, it is wasting our resources. So when you are doing any project, you place that on the website of the DRDL, and if you have any expert working in other DRDLs across the country, utilize their resources, utilize their expertise so that you can accomplish the task in less time, my dear friends. So stratification has to bring the people together, work together so that we can better utilize the resources. It also helps in stabilizing and reinforcing the attitudes and the skills of the individuals. It helps to pursue different professions and also helps in social control at large, my dear friends. So these are the functions of social stratification according to Wilbert Murray and Kingsley Davis. Now let us discuss the forms of social stratification. Stratification systems can be categorized into 3 types. One is the caste system, class system, and the estate system. Now let us discuss about caste system in detail. Caste system is peculiar to the Indian society. We find this caste system only in Indian society and not else in the other parts of the world. The word caste has been derived from the Spanish or Portuguese word casta, which means race, lineage or breed. But if we see in the Indian caste system, it is based on parallel classifications of varna or jati. In Rig Veda, one of the oldest literature part on this planet, in that Purusha Sukta, they have mentioned about Varna system only once. Varna is nothing but, actually the meaning of Varna is nothing but color. But here it is not the color, but it's the skills acquired by the individuals which is going to place them in a position. Like we have 4 Varnas like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. There is no word called caste system in none of the Vedic literature, my dear friends. But presently, we are not having the Varna system, but we are having the caste system. The beauty of the Varna system is that it is an open group. Anybody, by acquiring any skill, he can attain that position. A cobbler, if he attains the Brahmanical literature, or if he is going to learn all the literature part or Vedas, he can also become a Brahmin. He can attain the status. If a son of a Brahmin, if he does not acquire the skills, he will simply lose that position. It is an open group, my dear friends. But somehow in the Indian society, the Varna system has been converted or turned into a caste system. When and how it has been turned, there is no clear classification or explanation on this. So, when we talk about caste system, here also we talk about Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, but it is assigned to an individuals by birth itself. Varna is an achieved status, whereas coming to caste system, it is ascribed system. By birth itself, the caste is assigned to the individuals in the society. Now, let us discuss about the features of caste system. In each and every society in India, we have the segmental division of society. Segmental division. Even now, if you go to the traditional or remote rural areas, we have a clear classification. In some areas, we find the dominant caste people, then the less dominant caste people, and so on residing in the area. They stay in segments like. In the village center, we have the Dora, and around his houses, we find some dominant castes like Brahmins. Then we have the BC communities among them who have Upanayana ceremony, twice born among BC communities. They will be residing around them, and after that, the people who are not twice born or people who does not have the process of purification, they will be residing. So, we have a clear-cut segmentation or division of society, my dear friends, segmental division of society. Then we also have hierarchical division of society, like Brahmins on the top, then Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Among the Shudras, we have 4 communities who have Upanayana ceremony like weavers, then we have Nai Brahmin, a barber, then we have the carpenter, then we have the goldsmith. So, whatever the services are required for the dominant caste people, those people also have this Upanayana ceremony, or even they are treated as twice born, my dear friends. So, we have the hierarchical division of society. Then each and every caste is going to have a caste panchayat, and this caste panchayat is headed by the people or the elder male member of that particular caste. And whenever there are any queries, where they are having any issues, this caste panchayat is going to sit and they are going to address their issues. So, each and every caste has their caste panchayats who are going to regulate the human behavior. Then we have the restrictions in terms of feeding, drinking and social interactions. Only the same caste people used to sit for dining, and the food which was cooked by the Brahmins, it is treated as pakka food which can be offered to the rest of the people who are there in the society. And they also say that because they are going to use ghee, the food is pure and it can be offered to the god and to the other people. And the food which is cooked by the rest of the people who do not have the higher status in the society, it is treated as kacha food and it can never be taken to the temple or never offered to the dominant caste or the upper caste. So, these kind of restrictions are there in the society, my dear friends. We also have restrictions in terms of marriage, like people have to marry within the same caste. We use the concepts like endogamy and exogamy. People have to marry within the same religion and same caste. We talk about we call it as endogamy. Instead of practicing this, we also use exogamy. People have to go for Sapinda exogamy, Sagotra exogamy and Pravara exogamy and so on. So, we have the restrictions in terms of marriages. And we also have disabilities and privileges for different castes in a different way. The priest can go into the temple sanctum and can do all the religious activities, whereas Dalits are never allowed. They are disabled from entering into the temple premises. They cannot go and watch or do any activity, whereas the Brahmins have all the privileges, my dear friends. So, in terms of caste, some people have disabilities, some people have privileges. Even now, in some parts of the country, my dear friends, Dalits are not, forget about going to the religious places. They are not allowed to the educational institutions. They are not allowed to go to the hospitals. They do not get the proper treatment, or they are ill treated in the society. Even now, as on date, it is happening in some parts of the country. So, we have disabilities for few sections, whereas we have privileges for few castes, my dear friends. So, these are the features of caste system. Now, let us discuss about the class system. Social classes are defined as broad groups of people who share a similar economical condition, such as occupation, income, or ownership of wealth. So, we can classify the people based on the occupation which he is performing, or the income of the individual, or even the property. According to Ogburn and Nimkoff, a social class is defined as the aggregate of persons having essentially the same status in a given society. If we see, when we talk about class system, it may not be the same. It may vary from one society to the other society. If you go to the African continent, in most of the countries, the class is measured not by economy, but how many cows or how many cattle they have. The more the cattle, the more the milk, the more the food, and that is how they are wealthy, my dear friends. The wealth is defined in different ways in each and every community or society. That's the reason Ogburn and Nimcom has said that it is the aggregate of persons having essentially the same status, that too in a given society, not across the world. According to Laber, he said that a social class is a culturally defined group that is accorded a particular position or status within the population which is there in that particular state or country. So, we have understood that it is an economical aspect and the privileges are different, the status is different. So, when we talk about class, my dear friends, it is an open group. Anybody can become anything. So, people can become rich or people can also become poor. It is based on the efforts of the individuals, they can attain the status. Once upon a time in India, we used to have a air service provider who used to provide for cheaper fare, that is Kingfisher Airways. Vijay Mallya used to run that airways. It is one of the cheapest fare at that time across the country. But right now you can see him that he almost free from our country. Right now he is residing in London. His airways has been closed, my dear friends. No company, no individual, no government came forward for the rescue of Kingfisher Airways, my dear friends. A rich person has become very, very poor, my dear friends, right now. Whereas a poor person can also become rich, my dear friends, based on his efforts. Just now I gave the example of Jack Ma, who a poor person who become very, very rich, top 20th richest person across the globe, my dear friends. So, it is a open group, my dear friends. Now, let us discuss about gender. In each and every society, we have a classification based on our biological conditions, that is sex, the male or female. But in each and every society, we have socially constructed status, roles and expectations of the individuals. What a girl is supposed to do and what a boy is supposed to. What must be their body language, how they have to behave, how all these are described by the society. The society has said that woman has to take care of household activities, whereas man is allowed to go outside, earn money for the family. So, we have this gender based discrimination and gender type stereotypes, what a boy or a girl is supposed to do, what are the expectations of the people. So, a gender stratification increases the level of gender inequality, which reflects greater differences between men's and women's access to power, it may be economical power, political power, and so on in the society. And the last one is the estate. It is a synonym for feudalism. In this feudalism or the estate system, we are going to stratify the people based on rank, property, political rights and obligations, which may also be heredity. So, they are separated from one another based on social status, privileges, access to political power, endogamous marriage system and even the subcultures. We find this highest estate form in the European continent. Like the clergy formed the estate having lower status but possessing various distinctive privileges in the society. We also have the third estate where the commoners or serfs, free peasants, merchants and artisans are there in the society, especially in Europe. Till now, we have studied about stratification, its forms in different ways, the caste, the class, gender and the estate. Thank you.